You're listening to Dose of Growth. Optimize the system, not the symptom, in business and in health.
Dr. Growth will see you now.
Hey, Guido.
Hey, Mike.
Again, thank you for so much for joining me on this session. I'm really excited. Fun fact is when I was, a young boy, I was obsessed with spying.
Wow.
Spy toys, spy gadgets, spy movies. I even looked at, spying as a career. And then obviously as I got older, reality kicked in and I got obsessed with marketing, loved everything about it, storytelling, attribution, tracking, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And what makes me really exciting is that you've created a tool that combines these two things into one. So again, thank you so much for joining me. If you're a business owner or a marketer or an entrepreneur who spends money on advertising, that loves beating the competition and lowering your acquisition costs, this episode is definitely for you. So without further ado, Guido, welcome.
Thank you, Mike. I mean, that's super exciting. I always have fascination for spy and spy movies. So this is definitely a great feat. And what we do in Adplexity Social is that, right? Is seeing where the competition is going, where the market is going, and then try to find very strong signals on what's working, right? And what's working for somebody that isn't working for others. So that is what we specialize and what we work every day, from marketing, from product, from tech, from everything, to find the right place for our users to find this type of intel.
I love it. So if we could start off with, giving a quick intro about your background. Are you a marketer? Are you a tech individual? What is Adplexity? What does it do in simple terms, just for, to kickstart this session?
Yeah. So my background, I come from performance marketing. Back in the days, I ran supplement brands in Europe specifically, which is what's quite known for North America, because it was not as known as is in the US or was in the US back then. So always paid media, always heavy on performance marketing, trying to get that 1% extra on conversion to basically lower our CPAs, right? That was the whole thing. And then last year we started with Adplexity Social. The company has other platforms as well, covering different traffic sources, but Adplexity Social started last year, and it has been an extreme success. We're aiming to become the number one at intelligence or at spy tool for performance marketeers, opposed to there's many in the industry, right? There are many others. And we try to identify ourselves as providing those strong KPIs, the strong metrics to assess success among performance marketeers. One industry that we are aiming now is definitely telehealth, but again, it's not the only one. But we have been doing very well on it because we have, I will show you in a bit, very strong indicators on what is working now on telehealth specifically, right? So that is what makes this session very exciting.
Yeah, I used to use, ad intelligence spy tools, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, back in the day when I was more in affiliate marketing, performance-oriented stuff. I personally don't find agencies or larger brands using this. I feel it is very skewed more to the performance people. Can you shed light of who uses your platform and why do they use it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we have a big bunch of what I call performance marketeers. Affiliate is part of it. What we know, affiliate marketing is one portion of performance marketing, but we have brand owners, we have e-com people, we have people running Legion, we have Legion operators as well as Legion affiliates, right? And some is looking for to get the form and to get the lead, and some others are looking for sell those leads, right? Create and sell them. So it's really among across performance marketeers across many industries. Nutra is very related to affiliates, right? But Nutra, BSLs, Legion, pay-per-call, gambling, dating, e-commerce. So it's really broad. We have users across the globe. Of course, tier one countries, US is one of our main countries, but we have users from Canada, lots of users from Europe as well. So it's really diverse in terms of user space. But one thing in common, we don't have Coca-Cola trying to run brand awareness. It's all performance marketers, it's all people that are interested in finding how to increase their performance, not only with the creatives, but also with their funnels, right? So that's a combination.
Yep. Do you find that people are using your tool once they've kind of plateaued and have a hard time, either lowering their acquisition costs or, performance? Or do you feel that it's usually at the beginning of their campaign of seeing what's going on in the market? Where do they come into your tool? Is it more near the end where they're like, hey, we're not getting the performance, let's go take a look under the hood of what's going well for others? Or is this usually at the beginning, or maybe both?
I would say both. The difference between one or the other is normally when they come as newbies, we call them newbies, and then they come starting their careers, they don't tend to last much. So as always, it's a pyramid, right? 100 people enter whatever in performance marketing, you call it affiliate, telehealth, or anything, 80% will fail, okay? So what we see from the newbies is that we get more rotation. When more seasoned companies or marketeers come to us, they tend to stay much longer because they really keep an eye on what's the next angle or hook the competitor is using and scaling. And that is what we see normally. So we have both. We cover both. We are very friendly towards people starting their journeys, but we are also a very useful tool for people that are much more advanced in their journeys.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel that at last, few years, it's definitely shifted a lot more to the creative component, right? Now it's everything about creative, of putting hundreds of creatives out there and help the algorithm. Before that, it was a lot more on the audience targeting of what is the segmentation, who are we talking to? So I think obviously your tool is perfect in today's time where everything is really at the creative level right now and really giving companies the ability to really lower their acquisition costs and expand online.
Absolutely. And what we do very well, and I think what we're doing that separates us a bit from our competitors, and the market is massive in this type of spy tool or ad intelligence. There's many tools, is that we do a very good job aggregating data on any level. You call it creative. Absolutely. I will show you in a bit, but it can be domain, it can be fan page, it can be anything that we can be putting all data together and tell you, okay, these guys running telehealth are running their advertisements from 100 different fan pages on Meta, and they're using this type of creatives, and these are the ones that are actually scaling right now. So we do basically both.
Yeah, so I guess it's a really good segue for a lot of people that are listening or viewing. Google and Facebook ad library is usually the go-to source for seeing creative, but it doesn't give you the full picture. And it sounds like you go a lot deeper than just so maybe can you go deeper of like comparing the two? Because I would imagine most people are very familiar with Google and Facebook ad library as the way that they feel that they're spying. Tell me the limitations and what you obviously can offer.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ads Library is a transparency tool that Meta created for transparency. It's incredible. I mean, it has all the data that it has to have. Is super goes. You can find anything, but at the same time, it's on a surface level. You cannot see what is working, who's scaling, what they're scaling, because they don't show this. And also, there's another limitation here in the performance marketing space. So if you talk about, for example, an e-com brand running from one branded e-com fan page, it's a different story. You can get a better idea of what you're seeing. But in the telehealth space, we will see it in a bit. They're running from so many different fan pages that it's very hard to get a grasp, okay, what's working. And also on Ads Library, you get to see an ad ID, a unit. You don't get to see a group on how these things are doing on a creative perspective on one side, but also on the overall side, right? So Ads Library is an incredible tool. It's made for transparency, for what it matters. Many performance marketeers are using Ads Library on a daily basis, we know. But when you do not have this type of segmentation that we have in the platform, you will spend a lot more time to achieve the same or a worse conclusion than with us. So what we pride on is accuracy and going deep into the data.
You made a good comment. I think it's important to, dig a little bit. Why do companies have multiple fan pages or ad accounts?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some companies don't realize, like a lot of the bigger players, they do that. Mm-hmm. Why is that?
There's a few reasons. From what we understand, maybe there's many others. One of the reasons is, let's start with different ad accounts. When we're talking about different ad accounts, is nobody really understands fully the Meta algorithm. So what the perception is that one ad account is going to hit one pool of audience and another ad account is going to hit up another pool, and it's completely random. So from a scaling perspective, having multiple ad accounts helps you getting into different pool of audiences. That's one logic. The secondary logic comes in why different ad accounts? Well, different ad accounts and also different fan pages both have the same objective: attract or achieve and hit different eyeballs. Right? That's the whole point. And the second one comes from mitigating the risk. Whenever you run performance marketing and whenever you run something that is slightly more aggressive, weight loss, like many in the telehealth, ED, or hair loss, you need to make claims. And if you put all your eggs in the same basket, where you're making those claims from one ad account and one fan page, if something goes wrong, and for whatever reason this gets, let's say, banned or limited, then you lose your entire business. So there's two things. One is to scale on different eyeballs, and the other one is to mitigate the risk across different units, right? Ad accounts, fan pages, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and I know that's a huge business on its own. I know there's many companies that's what they focus on, and helping companies mitigate risk and obviously get to different pools. So thank you for sharing that. I would love, to go into, the nitty gritty. And it may be best for you to show, what it looks like, behind the curtain. Like, I really want to see how we could, as marketers, reduce wasted spend by studying what works.
Yeah.
I'd love to see, what signals suggest an ad or funnel is actually working. And I think the best way to do that is probably for you to show, and share the tool to everybody.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Sweet.
Perfect. So can you see my screen? Yeah.
I can. Yeah.
Excellent. So what we are doing is we have a huge collection of ads, over 100 million at the moment. And we collect and monitor over a few 100,000 ads a day. So in every space that we tackle, we have a very big reach. And one way we did it very simple for the telehealth space is to basically use with one click here, click telehealth, and automatically we're going to be pulling ads that are telehealth related. So that is, you see in one click, I click here telehealth and I already see hers, which is hers.com for hers. And then there's going to be many more.
And you're identifying telehealth how? Like, is it a keyword? I see legit scripts. So is that your main identifier?
Correct. So this is something that I learned in February during one of the conferences. And somebody told me that in order for telehealth, they have to have LegScript on their landing pages. So we implemented LegScript as our identifying mechanism for not only telehealth, but in general, everybody who's using LegScript. What happens, these telehealth brands, as we know, Direct Meds, MedB, and Fairs, and all these, they have to have telehealth. We're going to find other ones. But besides this one, what we did as well is we created another bracket and pool, another filter, which we call it telehealth alone, which is going to be any of the brands that we have identified as telehealth. So again, Direct Meds, MedB, For Hers, and there's a handful more. So either if they have LegScript on their landing pages, or if they're present in their funnel for somebody running, for example, to a pre-lander, which is not going to have LegScript because they don't have to. But if then it links to one of the telehealth players, we're going to be linking that ad as well. Yeah, makes sense?
Yes.
Super. Sweet. So now you can do this for creative inspiration. And I'm going to go quick on this space, which basically what we are doing here, we are having the ability to say, okay, let's look at what are the most used creatives in the space. This is going to give us an excellent hedge. For example, we find these ones here. This video here, which is not linking directly to any of the telehealth players, is being heavily used in around 1,500 ads. And that is what Adplexity does very, very well. We're going to be grouping the creative based on ads despite of who's running them. So in this case, we can see two different fan pages running this particular creative across 1,500 ads, right? So the way and the reason why we are seeing this as telehealth, despite the fact that this is not linking to any telehealth at first, is that this one is running here to everydaily.com this is the landing page. We can see a screenshot later on as well. But this traffic going to this page first is ending in altrx.com. And that is why we are identifying this particular creative, this particular ad as one to telehealth. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah,
So this is
definitely.
really powerful because you can see and then you can unlock funnels of people running in different ways, not just to one of the landing pages from one of the players, DirectMed or MedBee or any of these, right? You can see how others are running, and we can go to the landing page then, and then we can see how this one looks. So this is the landing page that this is using. This is an advertorial
Yeah.
for some lung products, which eventually is going to end in one of the telehealth players.
Do you find that it's common for a lot of these larger brands to do these pre-sales pages, squeeze pages, before
Well,
directing them to their main?
I would say that affiliates pushing those brands are the ones doing
Yeah.
using pre-landers. I would say if the brands are running them themselves, which I can imagine that they have strong and big media buying teams, they will be running directly to their own properties, if I have to guess. But we can see here, for example, this one is linking to Quad of medbee.org, but it's running from a fan page called David Miller, which of course has nothing to do with Medbee, right? This is what we were discussing before about these kind of disposable fan pages that are running to one domain or another.
Interesting.
Yep. So what we do is we can see all this data on creatives. There's spaces. So for example, if I switch from telehealth to BSLs, which is another quite popular among performance marketeers, you will see that these numbers go instead of 199, it maybe goes to 10,000. So it's a different monster, but within the telehealth space, we can see that these are the top creatives being used right now for anything related. So, for example, you can see this one is DirectMeds, which is a lot more branded than others. You have video from TDMRX and so on and so forth.
Question: Can you filter the category within telemed, whether it be weight loss or ED,
Yes.
sexual health?
Yes. So the way we work with our filters is everything creates a kind of a cohort. So for example, now we have a cohort of 20,000 plus 18,000. So it's going to be somewhere in between, because I can imagine that leisure script and telehealth are going to have quite repetition. But if I come here and I click on vertical, we try to categorize every single ad we can find. Okay, there's going to be some cases that we don't. But in this case, for example, weight loss seems to be the one that we have the most, but there's erectile dysfunction, there's anti-aging, there's general health, other supplements, hair growth, testosterone, which are kind of the spaces that we know that telehealth is quite popular on. So for example, if I click here on weight loss, what I'm doing now, I'm seeing only weight loss ads that are tagged as telehealth using LegiScript or not.
Got it. And then you ranking it based on how often these ads are appearing, and that's the main metric of success?
There's a few ones. So I can sort them the way we have different sorting.
Or longest. Yeah.
You can see which one, which ad is in US. You can also see which ad is running longest. But something to take in mind is when an ad is running longest, it's great because it's one ad running long. But when 200 creatives are using the same video, that is much stronger, because these 186 creatives, maybe they have one that is running for a very long time, maybe one that's not running at all. We can see here on the ad timeline, for example, the first time we spot this creative. This one is quite fresh. We spot it for the first time on April 22nd. You see, April 22nd to April 23rd, May 7th to May 12th. So you see, it really depends how many days an ad can run, but they are all using the same creative.
I have a technical question, not to deviate, but how is your system identifying that these are the same creative? Because each one is unique. I guess you're using machine or AI to like match and say, okay, this is the same as this one.
Yes. See, what we do is the process is quite complex. I
can imagine.
We will be able to explain it fully, but we analyze images and videos using AI, and we understand that all the frames match.
Yeah,
so if all the frames from a video match, they will be the same. They will be grouped together across any fan page or any domain that is using this particular video.
Got it. Makes sense. And I love that, obviously, when I'm looking here, I could see like landing pages. Like, I think for me, that's something that is difficult usually to see in a lot of these other tools, to be able to see what are the messaging and copy that's being used along the way to give you the angle is really unique.
So for example, here we have one. This seems to be running with an advertorial. And, there's going to be then a question of compliance or non-compliance. I cannot tell if this is or isn't.
That's
I
fine.
would guess that this might not be, but that's not the topic of this conversation. But this is how somebody is pushing this, and this particular is getting 176 ads out of those 186, right? So we see that this advertorial might be performing well for this person, and we can see then. In this case, I cannot open the redirect chain, so I could, if I go a little deeper, like we said, we are spies. We can go to what the domain is, and then we can understand what these people is doing in terms of domains, and then we might find more intel in that one as well. So, for example, if I come here, I go to landing pages, and I might find one or another with the redirect chain, not in this case, but we can see that this is pushing definitely something related to telehealth.
Got it. Are you seeing, out of curiosity, I got, obviously you have millions and millions of data points, but are you seeing certain ad formats that are gaining momentum right now?
Oh yeah. There's quite a few. In terms of ad formats, there's a lot of UI, AI UGC generated content.
Definitely.
A lot. What I see a lot of the brands are probably these are using for remarketing. In terms of other ones, I've seen some cartoon animations. I even see them, not in telehealth per se, but I see some cartoon animations going on as well.
For health, I see it a lot. Yeah.
Yes. For health, yeah, definitely. Any type. I mean, there's really a trend in UI, AI UGC, some of these crazy mashups that are looking like it's strong hooks, like this overweight woman here, and this one about the gelatin trick. And you think, hey, this is not telehealth. Well, we are matching a telehealth because this is linking to Noom. And we understand that Noom is one of the telehealth players.
Yeah.
And that is why, and then you think like, okay, this is very weird or very, unrelated. Well, it isn't. I mean, we have the proof here that it's actually being used in that way. Yeah. So you can spend hours doing creative browsing and going through the creatives that you want. But other thing that we did in Adplexity Social, which I think is one thing that really set us apart from most, if not all of the competitors, is we not only show ads, we not only show creatives, we show really hard numbers on domains. And we are grouping everything that is happening on a domain. One thing to take into account, we do not have 100% of the data that it is because it's impossible, right? We have a sample which is big enough, right? So that's something that we always stress to our users is what you're seeing here is what we have, and this is a lot. So when I come on Leshit Script and Telehealth for the last 30 days, we get to see which are the brands that are having the most amount of activity and the most amount of new ads being launched. So in this case, we have, for example, Direct Meds, which we know is one of the biggest brands in the space, TrimmerX, MedB, ROCO, almost this is a German one, For Hers, Noom. You see Hims. These are all familiar names, right? And some others, we might have a little bit less reach, and we are constantly improving that and trying to get more and more and more. But this gives you a good indicator where the basically where are these things being invested. And one of the things that I really like is this number here. You can see with this percentage here who is scaling, who is not scaling.
Interesting.
Because this one is comparing to the previous period. So we have 30 days. This one we collected 700 ads from these guys in the previous 30 days. We know they have more because that's how we're ramping up collection. But now we have 5.1 thousand in the last 30 days. So this one compared to the other ones, despite of the percentage, is really, really growing, right? And then we can go in and then we can see the whole structure from this one. We have 1,400 ads are active, which accounts for 70%, almost 18% of the ads we have in our database from them. And then we can see all sort of grouping. So landing pages, which is the most popular landing pages for these guys.
This is very powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. And
can you keep going? I'm really curious. I love this, by the way. Like the pages, the analytics. Yeah. Show me all of it because this is phenomenal.
So here you can say, okay, and we have different sorting options. And why this is important is sometimes the one with the most ads might be lower. You can see it here.
Yeah.
This one has 2.2 thousand ads, okay? But does have a lot less new ads. which means that likely there are less ads pushing new ones to these landing pages because it's older and maybe stop performing. So, and then you get to see, okay, now show me which one is the landing page with the most new ads. And then it changes again.
Mm-hmm.
And this is very interesting to see because you can see firsthand very fast where is the traffic going. Yeah,
I love
we
it.
cannot quantify impressions, but number of ads is very, very strong. A number of new ads as well.
What is the metric? Sorry, strength 30D. What is that referring
This
to?
metric is a metric that we are calculating ourselves to understand what the strength is, and it's an algorithm which has many different inputs. So one input is going to be the number of ads. Second input is the number of new ads. Third input, the number of days running. Fourth input is the number of active ads. So every single of this one, and I think there's a few more, but I might not know them all.
It'll be like a weighted calculation of,
Exactly.
I got it.
And it gives you a number. So the higher the number, the higher the strength, is a stronger element. And we calculate this metric not only on landing pages, but we calculate it on fan pages, and we calculate it also on creatives and everything inside analytics as well.
Got it. Can you keep navigating? Yeah, I'm really curious. Pages.
So this is what we were discussing at the beginning of our conversation, where you were asking why would they use different fan pages? Well, I can have many assumptions on why, but those are irrelevant. What we can say is you can see how many they have, and this is a big number. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4. We're talking about hundreds of them, and some of them with very little activity, but some of them with very significant one.
Could it be that obviously some of them are owned by them, obviously to like you said, and I'm aware, spread the risk, mitigate the risk, and then spread eyeballs. But could some of these also be influencers that you could tap into? Could that be something else, or am I off?
I say that these are affiliates on one side. And if they have a media buying team internally and they want to mitigate the risk or not only that, or they want to expand, they're probably using, it's very common to see this type of ad, this type of pages where are Shake Wheeler or basically names on the pages because they look like if they're real people. Chessy De Leon, like this is this is the biggest fan page that we have identified. Has 230, I think, maybe these are active or not. They're locked because I'm not logged into Meta. But you can see that it's really, it varies a lot in terms of ads, new ads, which one is growing, which one is not. Yeah. And maybe one gets, many negative comments on the post. So they have to switch to another one because if you get negative comments, you get negative sentiment and probably your CPM.
The algorithm. Yeah, exactly. And then your CPM will go up.
Yeah. So this is it. So in terms of analytics, we are looking at countries. In this case, Telehealth is going to be 99% US. In terms of verticals, we can see also
this is great.
Yeah, weight loss or beauty, anti-aging, other supplements, ED. So you can see their mix on which are the strongest verticals. You can see, if you click here, you get to see the ads that are weight loss from Direct Meds as well. And this one is my favorite by far, creatives. This one is absolutely golden. We get to see new creatives versus reused creatives. So you can see that, for example, in April, they launched a lot more new creatives, but now they are reusing those creatives a lot.
Yeah, they've optimized it. Yeah.
The creative lifespan means how long do they last? And you can see that nothing lasts too long. Everything goes.
With this, again, you see beyond just telehealth. How does telehealth compare to all the other verticals? It's probably similar, very, very similar in the sense of creatives don't last anymore. You need to be pumping out a lot of creatives.
Yeah. The curve is similar, although I have to say in health, in general, this curve is like this, is not too long. You have spaces, let's say, I think Legion, for example, home improvements or roofing, that they tend to last a little longer.
Got it.
Yeah, but on health in general, this is very similar. Everything that is, is you need to persuade somebody strongly to buy your product. You cannot show the same thing many times. And the audience pools, of course, are huge, but the frequency starts ramping up very fast as well. So that is why these type of things tend to be, the repetition matters a lot and the variation matters a lot as well. Here we can see which one are the top creatives of these guys in terms of number of ads running and which are the emerging creatives, which ones are the creatives that are getting the most new ads. So we
Yeah.
show both. Why we show both? Because when you try to get intel, if you want to replicate, for example, this angle of this video, now this is not a massive number, 200, but if it was instead of 200, I don't know, 5,000, then we know it's an excellent creative, but at the same time, it might be, the angle might be already burnt, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But we show both. We give our users the ability. These are the top ones. These ones are the ones that are increasing most rapidly. So we play a lot with these percentages, which means that there's a sense of speed in a way, but also freshness, right? You want to find which one is going to be the next one that is going to work really well for whoever you're looking for, in order to be early in the curve and not be the last one, right? Not start creating this angle of this creative when it's already burnt in a way. And then you can see all the creatives that these guys are using, and you can sort it by active ads. So you can see these ones here has 284 ads, and they all seem to be active. 50. So you get to see which ones are the most active ones as well, which gives you a very strong indicator that, hey, this might be worth analyzing, checking, sending to your creative team to create some similar sort of variation.
Got it.
And then we go to hooks. This is amazing as well.
This is great.
What we're doing here, you click here, request hooks, and we're going to be processing all the videos, and we're going to tell you which are the first 3 seconds or the first caption or something, the first line that these guys are using, and then you can see which ones are the most
Even in videos?
This is for video.
Wow.
This is not for image. Images don't tend to, as far as I know. The hooks, we call it the first 3 seconds of a video. That's what we call a hook.
Love it.
You can really go deep and see it. And then in terms of ad copy, same thing applies. And we were discussing before, what's the difference between us and an ads library? I guess this explains it very easily.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
yeah. Ads library, is a lot of work, right? You're looking at it, but you're not getting the digested information, which obviously you do that very well. You're showing hooks and ad copy, because that would be my next question is like, there's one thing of seeing everything, but then how do I utilize that information? And this is a great format for me to start taking it, and I could put it into, my system. I think this is phenomenal.
Yeah. For example, here, if you're starting, like you asked me before, and you're starting, and you say, okay, what type of messaging do I want to give? What type of wording do I want to use? What type of creative type do I want to use? Well, instead of just guessing or going to a library and take your assumptions based on 10 creatives that you saw, people come to us and then say, okay, this one is the type of ad copy that is winning for one of the biggest brands in the space. So analyze what they're saying here. You aren't getting all your cells are depleted. So you see it leads with a controversial type of opening. Of course, don't copy it, because if you copy this one, it might not work for you. But understand the structure of this one,
correct?
How it talks, what language they use, and so on and so forth. Put it in cloud, put it in ChatGPT, and ask him to create something similar for your brand based on your value proposition.
Is there an ability for you to download this information, export it, or?
Yes.
Oh, wicked.
You can export the primary text in CSV, and it exports the whole table, by the way. You can export the headlines, and you can export the hooks as well.
Very cool. Very cool.
And then one of the things that I do myself a lot in our platform is creating what we call swipe files. We call them boards, and I'll explain why. A swipe file, as we know in the industry, is a collection of ads or creativities, right? It comes from newspaper. What we did here is we took it one level further. We're not only allowing people to collect ads, to sort them like we did before with, for example, most used creatives and so on, but we're also allowing our users. You see, we get to see similar ads of what we saw before. This one seems to have worked very well for direct messages, or for Medbee in this case. But you get to see here, you can make your collection of creatives in which you can download all these creatives, download, and create similar variations.
Love it.
But what we did is we took it further. We are also allowing our users to create a collection of domains. And this collection of domains gives you the ability to keep track and keep an eye on the domains that you're competing with. And then you can see here, like, like before I click and I put the filters and then I went to domains and there's no mistake. Here you have the ones you want to follow. TrimRx, Direct Meds, MedP, Quad MedP, 4Hers, Noom, and the list goes on and goes on and goes on. And that way you have an eye on how these guys are doing, and then you can to see, okay, are they launching more? These guys are scaling. These guys are scaling. These ones are scaling. These ones are scaling. So the market, the industry is definitely growing. Otherwise, you would see these numbers going down, and that's not the case.
Well, I could obviously relate to that. Telehealth is exploding right now.
Yeah.
I've never seen such a influx. Everyone's coming in. So this definitely correlates to that. Yeah. And I think what obviously we're all seeing is the CPAs are rising quite rapidly, right? It's very competitive, especially in certain categories like weight loss. And I think your tool gives, marketers an edge over the competition of seeing what angles probably perform. So a lot of it is hypothesis, but it definitely gives them an advantage over others that are, just kind of winging it, I guess you could say. That's phenomenal. Is there anything else in the tool that you think might be, this, by the way, is phenomenal. Is there anything else that you might want to show us or?
No, I think we cover most of the tool.
Perfect.
I mean, this is just to take that inspiration, to take, make decisions based on data and not decisions made on gut feeling, right? These brands are bigger. They're going to only get bigger. And then you can see very fast when they pivot to, as you said, weight loss might be getting too competitive. They're pivoting to hair loss. They're pivoting to ED. They're pivoting to something else. And then you can see it firsthand very fast. So that is what we try to achieve with our users. We got a lot of users in the telehealth space, by the way. As we were mentioning before, telehealth is, of course, mainly American and mainly US. That's the main market. But the people running telehealth are all over. Yeah. So we get people from Europe, we get people from the US running telehealth as well. And the reason why they choose us over Ads Library or any other tool is because we made it easier, faster to get this information into their hands.
What's next for Adplexity from a tech standpoint? Are you expanding into different traffic sources?
We have a huge roadmap. It's beautiful. It's beautiful in that sense. So we are going to be releasing a lot of new smaller features in the upcoming weeks. Some of them are going to be related to affiliate marketing, not still to telehealth. Eventually, what we want to build is we want to move to TikTok as well. So we eventually want to cover TikTok. But again, what we see it coming in the next, let's say, 2 years or 3 years, is going to be one ecosystem to serve all. So we want to be a place where you come also to create creatives. So using the Intel, you choose the creative you like, you put it in our other module of creative generation, and then you get 10 variations of it for your brand. Then we are also going to, these are all plans. This can happen maybe in 2 years from now. It's going to take a long time. But creative analytics, so you connect your own Facebook accounts and then you see which creatives are working best for you. And lastly, launching creatives. So I want to select these 10 creatives. I want to create 10 variations. I want to launch them, everything. And I want to take 2 minutes to do all this.
Wild. Is last question, where should people follow you and learn more about Adplexity?
They can follow me on LinkedIn. And Guido Silbert, that's my name, and they can find me there. On X as well, I constantly post any content. I share all these type of boards as well. We can share this board if there's going to be a link or anything in this.
Yeah, I'll definitely add some more context. Maybe do like a referral or promo and get people to come in and try it out. Definitely, I think is a tremendous value.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So Guido, honestly, I really appreciate you taking the time to walk us through the tool. I think it's phenomenal, especially from a marketer and a person that's obsessed with spying. I think it's nails it down. And I hope a lot of people see the value. I know a lot of people are either already using it or either are not aware of the possibility. So I think this is going to unlock a lot of people for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, good, great. Thank you for having me. It was a great pleasure.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.